The BLM Ely District's Caliente and Shell field offices are gathering approximately 546 wild horses from in and around the Silver King herd management area located in eastern Nevada, about 90 miles south of Ely. BLM wild horse specialist Ben Noyes explains why.
All right, right now we're in Silver King herd management area. It encompasses about 606,000 acres, as you can see out across here, much of which is covered in pinyon and juniper. We're at Bailey's Spring, which is about right in the heart of the Silver King herd management area. You can see this spring source is heavily used by wild horses. It's primarily used by wild horses. Wildlife and livestock tend to stay out of this area, livestock being down in the valley a little more. Wildlife tend to stay up a little bit higher. You can see how the horse has been digging out at the side of this hill trying to get to fresh water. Once it gets muddied up, they don't like to drink it too much. They want a fresh source, so they've been digging and pawing at the side, and it's just taken that back into the hillside quite a bit more, as you can see. When I started here about 4 years ago, this side over here is where the main water source was, and the water would actually stay right in this rock house, and it kind of puddled up there at the front of the door. The horses would go in just a little bit, but that's the main source where they would drink. Since then, horses have been pawing this area out, and this side's pretty much dried up. This actually caved in just this last winter, and you know, it's made quite a bit of change right here within this area. This is one spot that shows the resource damage that can occur on the range when you have an overpopulation of wild horses trying to drink from one area. This is another spring source on the Silver King herd management area. We're down on the southern end. This is what we call Thorley Well. And as you can see, you know, the horses have actually dug this pond out, and it's got pretty good flow to it. It tends to stay about the same year round, you know, just kind of decent flow. If you come out this way just a little bit, you'll notice the traffic and the heavy use getting into this spring. And that's what's really creating our problem. All the trails which have degraded the rangelands coming in from here come from every which way, from north, south, east, and west, and probably within 20 miles of the area. You can just pick up on these trails that are all coming into here for these horses to water at this one spring source. There's a lot of competition. When the competition for the water increases, it creates rangelands like this. When you look out across the landscape, you kind of see, you know, a green tint like it's lush vegetation. But when you really get down and start looking at what's out here, we look at the plants right here close. This is ephedra, this is sagebrush, this is rubber rabbit brush. It makes it so that there's really not a lot of vegetation out here that's palatable for wild horses, livestock, or wildlife. This is pretty woody, and so is this. When it comes down to actual nutrients, there's not much value in it. As you look out across there, you can see a lot of juniper trees, which takes up a lot of space, as well as this kind of vegetation. We don't have a lot of lush grasses, which really support the habitat for wild horses out here.
We understand that there's a lot of horses in inventory and being fed at various places in the country that the BLM doesn't have an outlet for. But to not manage the horses that are on the range in the horse management areas at this time just further compounds the situation. So we would encourage the BLM to continue to gather horses, to manage the populations that are in our state and in our county at this time.
When you put things into the overall realm of the Silver King herd management area, it seems like 60 to 128 wild horses across 606,000 acres isn't that many. But the reality of it is, that's what the range can support. We want to see wild horses out here, but we want to see healthy wild horses. We don't want to see them deteriorating. We don't want to see our rangelands deteriorating. It takes a long time to replace this vegetation.